Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask Talk Show. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a light and easy cooking show. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is a light and easy cooking show. And we're here today at Solar Life and Fitness with registered dietitian Stephanie Vella. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Glad to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
Good. Now, Stephanie, you know, we had some responses to request you to come back and do something else for us.
Well, lovely. Thank you.
Okay. And so I do know that, you know, by the seasons changing and everything, people are becoming more health conscious, more aware of their intake and things like that.
Yeah.
And your job is to see to it to people doing better in the nutritional area.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what we have today for our light and easy cooking show is what I'm calling an anything goes pasta toss. So it's going to be very versatile. And it's also going to be a lot lighter, so something easy you can either whip up after work or just for a weekday meal. Takes 30 minutes to do, and we'll get started.
Okay.
So what we have over here is our whole wheat pasta.
Whole wheat.
And I know last time I was here we talked about whole grains versus refined grains. And you want whole grains because they are going to have the bran, the germ, and the endosperm of the grain all intact.
Okay.
The bran and the germ are the part of the grain that have the B vitamins, the protein, and the fiber.
Okay.
So they make it a much more healthy option for you.
Okay.
And what we're going to be doing, we already have our pot of water on boil.
Okay.
And we are going to just add our pasta right in.
Now this is wheat.
It is. It's a whole wheat.
Whole wheat pasta.
Yep.
Okay. The reason I picked one
Rotini
up because I was trying to see was it a different color than the normal pasta.
It is
normal
darker.
Pasta is usually yellow color.
Yep,
Okay,
it is darker,
okay.
and that's from having those 3 parts of the grain all intact.
Okay.
Yep. And I like to use it in this dish because this dish is vegetarian. The whole wheat pasta stands up a little bit better to our ingredients. It's a little bit, has a little bit more consistency and texture to it, which I think is really enjoyable. So we're going to put our pasta into our water and let it go for about 6 minutes or so.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And then what we're going to do over here is we have our large skillet pan.
That's a large skillet.
Exactly. Already with our 1 tablespoon of olive oil in it. Okay, and we're just going to turn on our stove, get it going here so that it's nice and warm, because we're going to be adding to our warm oil some onions and then some garlic that we're going to slice up.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So if you're somebody like me who cries whenever you have to cut onions, I have already chopped these up, but there are great alternatives if you're somebody who has a little bit of trouble chopping vegetables. You can get these pre-chopped and frozen in the frozen food section, or you can get them pre-chopped and raw in your fresh produce section.
Okay. You know, because I was going to ask that. A lot of times we always think that, you know, when someone sees a cooking show, that, okay, these vegetables, you have to slice and dice them. And someone's at home saying, I'm not able to cut up the vegetables like that person on TV is. So I want to know, what can I do to get my vegetables like that? Now, can you ask your grocer to cut the vegetables up? Has anyone ever done that?
You know, not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
but they do have those options in the frozen section as well as in the fresh produce section.
Maybe we
They'll
can
have
get that
those
started.
chopped.
We can.
Yeah, that could be a good service we could offer.
Make an announcement that if you are, you know, a person with a disability or rheumatoid arthritis or something or other, or just generally, you should be able to ask your grocer, is it possible that I can get these vegetables cut up for me? Maybe I'm making a wonderful salad, or maybe I'm making anything goes pasta, and I would like to have my vegetables cut up. Because I know that for sure in a supermarket, you know, right before too many fruits or vegetables go bad, sometimes the market can cut off the damaged good parts and then put it, reslice it and make it nice and colorful inside of a bowl and sell the watermelon slices
as a fruit salad or something like that.
So if you're doing it at supermarkets for that, you can
maybe
do it.
They can do it for us.
Okay. So we're going to try to help people get that out like that. And that should work.
Exactly.
Okay. The onions smell good. Do you need for me to do anything? I got to ask that question. Do I need to stir?
I think we're okay right now. We will have you taste test the pasta at some point.
Of course, Stephanie.
I thought you might like that.
Okay. I keep telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you're more than welcome to step in my shoes and sample the food. All right? All right. So, and if you are interested in doing that, once again, as I always tell you, you can always email us at justastalkshow.org. And now you can Facebook, Just As Talk Show, or hashtag Just As Talk Show, or just go ahead and give us a call, 1-800-323-5336, 1-800-323-5336. There's no way that you can't contact or connect with me at the Just As Talk Show. Okay. All right, now you know what? I'm going to tell you something, Stephanie. We've been doing a lot of cooking shows lately, mainly because we have a lot of calls in reference to what's good, what's next. All right? And I'm telling you, these onions are smelling good. You know what? I'm not really an onion eater, but onions smell good enough just like you just want to eat the onions by themselves.
Yep. And what we're doing to our onions here in our hot oil is we're going to cook them until they start to brown.
Okay.
And we're doing that because it's going to bring out a lot more flavor in them, especially since this meal is heart healthy. So it's low sodium, low fat, low cholesterol. So a lot of people think, oh, we don't have the salt or the fat, and that's what gives it a lot of flavor. But you can get flavor in other ways. So using these wonderful, fresh, very aromatic vegetables are a great way to start. And we just sliced up 5 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
Now again, if you're somebody that has some trouble chopping or you don't have the means to get that garlic fresh, you could use a half of a teaspoon of dried garlic powder for every 1 clove. Okay?
Okay.
And we're just going to keep making sure that we move our vegetables around in our pan. Don't want anything to stick to the bottom.
Smells good. And I'm not even an onion and garlic eater, but it's working for me. Okay.
Then we're going to check our pasta here because we don't want to overcook it. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes with making pasta is you don't want it to be mushy. All right?
Okay.
So, and of course, I learned how to cook from my mother, so she taught me the only way I know how to test if pasta is done is to try it. So I'm going to just put this on our plate here. We're going to let it cool off a little bit.
All right.
And then in a minute, why don't you give that a taste and see if it's al dente, which means to the tooth.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit harder, but still cooked.
I'm familiar with al dente.
Oh, good.
Okay. Alrighty.
And then what we're going to get started with over here is adding, we have a can of diced tomatoes with no salt added.
No salt added. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, you didn't see any salt or pepper just yet on this show.
Nope, not yet.
I'm going to try my pasta noodle. It's a corner before it gets al dente. Okay.
So we'll leave it in just another minute or so.
Second.
So we have here our tomatoes, and the reason I wanted to do this in this fashion is because we're going to drain them and use them in our dish, but we're going to drain them and reserve the liquid because they're canned in liquid here. And we're actually going to use that liquid as some extra flavor. Okay? So I'm just pouring them right into a strainer here.
Now, does it matter
a bowl underneath.
what brand of diced tomatoes you get?
The brand doesn't matter. What's really important is to check the ingredient label.
Okay.
Because a lot of canned vegetables are canned in sodium as a preservative. And that's where you get into having too much salt in the meal, is not because you're necessarily adding salt, but because you're using ingredients that are already salty. So you want to look for a low sodium version, and low sodium is going to count as less than 140 milligrams of salt per serving. So that's a good key number to look for. Okay?
Low sodium. All righty.
What we're going to do with this liquid that we have now drained off from our tomatoes is see how we have in our pan some browning going on?
Yes.
That's a lot of good flavor that we want to be able to use in our dish. So we're just going to pour a little bit in there.
Looks like we're getting ready to make spaghetti. Okay.
And we're going to use that liquid to get that brown goodness off of the bottom of our pan.
Now, is this one of the dishes you make at home for your family?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I used to make this a lot in college too. When it was just me, I'd cook up some vegetables, put it on the stove, and that would be my dinner.
Okay.
So I think our pasta's done now.
I believe
Been about
so.
a minute or so.
Okay.
We're just gonna drain it over here, over the sink, obviously.
All right. Well, I tell you what, Stephanie, we're going to take a break, and ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, I'm sure there'll be something else in that pan with those onions and garlic. We'll be right back.
We'll be here.
And welcome back to the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a light and easy cooking day, and we have with us registered dietitian Stephanie Vella of Solar Fitness Center. So, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, we're always trying to get you to increase your awareness of your intake when it comes to your health with food. A lot of us say, oh, gotta have a hamburger every now and then. I need a piece of bacon every now and then. Well, every now and then is okay. But in 7 days a week, you don't have to have meat every day. So why don't we try to start having 1, if not 2, meatless days a week. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. And it doesn't have to be meatless Monday. It could be meatless any day. And it doesn't have to be back to back. But once you start, you'll start to see the difference. Is that right?
Absolutely.
I thought so. I knew Stephanie would agree with me. Okay. But I'm telling you, the onions and the garlic and just the sauce. The
Yep, they're
sauce,
cooking in
smells
olive
good.
oil and the sauce from our can of tomatoes.
Okay, that smells good.
And
Real
then
good.
we have over here some white button mushrooms. We're just going to kind of roughly slice, chop them up, and we're going to be adding that to our garlic and our onions.
Okay.
And then we have our pasta that's all done and just resting there. Getting a little wild with my mushroom cutting over here.
So this is called Anything Goes Pasta.
Yep.
Okay.
And I like to do, this is a good one I think kind of for the transition into winter into spring. It's some vegetables that, using the canned vegetables, maybe you don't have them fresh during the winter, so that's a good option to still get in those important nutrients.
Okay.
But once the summer comes around, you can add things like zucchini or summer squash.
That sounds
You could do
good.
things like fresh basil in it. All sorts of those fun ingredients.
Yeah, now that sounds good. Okay. Wow.
And we have here, so mushrooms are something that I love to add, especially when you are cooking vegetarian, because they have sort of the texture and consistency that reminds me of meat without actually
Yes,
being
they
meat.
do.
Yep.
They do.
And with this one, they also have selenium. Selenium is an antioxidant that is not usually found in produce, so that's why mushrooms are such a great one to add.
Okay.
And antioxidants are what are going to help protect against cancer. They help prevent free radical formation in our body, which basically damages our cells.
Okay.
So it's a great thing to be able to squeeze into your diet when you can.
It smells great. I'm telling you, know what? Of the aroma that's in this kitchen, and it's just 3 vegetables, okay? Just 3.
Yep, just 3 so far.
3 main vegetables just going on in there, and smells good to me.
And we're just going to cook our mushrooms until the liquid starts to release from them. They're going to cook down a little bit, and you'll see that soon in a minute here. It's about 3 minutes or so you're going to cook them for.
Okay. Now, while Stephanie is in the middle of that, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to also let you know, if you don't know when we come on and where we come on at, maybe you want to contact our friends at Bright House Network, Comcast Detroit, Comcast Southfield, Wide Open West, Community Media Network, and our friends in Lansing. So if you're looking for us, and Telos TV. So if you're looking for us, you may want to either go to our website, find out what our channel times and areas are, or better yet, I always tell you can text me, call me, email me, whatever you choose, to say, hey, Marcia, I'm missing Just Ask. You don't have to miss Just Ask no more. Okay. A lot of people say, well, when do you come on and where do you come on? And those of you who are keeping up with us, we thank you so much for being our continuous viewers. We enjoy the emails that I receive. I had an email from a lady not too long ago in reference to one of the recipes, and more or less we did forward that recipe to her. So I wasn't sure of her name. I said I was going to say hello to her and thank you for emailing for the recipe, but I'll try to do it next time. So if you guys want to email us about recipes and stuff, feel free. I will be more than happy to forward them to you. For our nutritionists and our dietitians and our chefs are eager to share with you some of their wonderful meals, and hope that you will try it at home with your family. Okay. Now, you know what, Stephanie, I'm not trying to be mean, but if I had a hamburger, I'd throw it in there right now. Bing!
And this is a dish that you don't have to do vegetarian. So this would be a great option where you could do a extra lean ground turkey breast in here. So instead of doing ground beef, you'll save yourself some calories and some fat by looking for extra lean ground turkey breast.
Okay.
Breast is the key there. Otherwise, they grind it with the skin, and that's where the fat is. So this, you could absolutely add meat to this. Today we're doing without meat, makes it a little bit more versatile, and it can count as one of your meals without your meat in it.
That's right.
So it's perfect. And we're going to add next our tomatoes that we have from our can here. And tomatoes are a vegetable that contain lycopene. And some recent studies have shown that lycopene may help prevent prostate cancer in men. So, for the men in your life, add some tomatoes to their dish.
Some tomatoes, all right.
The tomatoes also give this a great color and flavor. And again, they're very low in calories, low in salt, low in fat, all those great things.
So I noticed that it's slowed down in its cooking. Is that at a simmering level now?
It is, yep. We just have it over low heat here.
Okay.
And that's because at this point, once we're adding the tomatoes, we're going to add our spices here.
Okay.
We're just really heating everything through now because our tomatoes are already cooked. So I have here a blend of a half of a teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
So this recipe makes four servings. So each person's getting only about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, which is okay.
All right.
And then it has a teaspoon of ground pepper and then 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, because I am a baby when it comes to spicy things, so don't you worry. It is not spicy. Even I can handle it.
All right.
If
you can handle it, I can handle it. Okay.
If you are a big fan of the spicy food, of course, you could always increase that amount of pepper in it, or you can use red pepper flakes, crushed red pepper flakes in this recipe as well. So that'll make sure that you're having a lot of spice and flavor.
Now, I'm not a fan of the spice, but you know, you gave me your word that you wouldn't
don't worry.
overdo it.
Your face will not melt off.
All right.
And then here we have oregano and basil. So those are going to be your Italian spices that we're going to add as well. And if you wanted to save yourself a step, you could find tomatoes that are canned in those Italian spices already.
Okay.
You just want to read the label and make sure that there's no extra salt.
Okay.
Lots of times when they do a spice blend, they sneak some salt in there, and that's not what we're going for here. Okay?
Well, I tell you, I mean, just that alone by itself looks pretty good there. Pretty good. And I know that our vegetarian friends are looking at it going, I've got to try that. Okay. All right. All right. So as a health conscious individual, this meal alone would generate how many calories?
This one has about 360 calories.
Okay.
With this particular combination of ingredients that we're doing.
Okay.
Now we're going to be adding some ricotta cheese and a touch of Parmesan cheese at the end. You could save yourself from some calories by eliminating those.
Okay.
And what we're getting from the calories is really good nutrition.
All
They're
right.
not empty calories. There's no refined sugar in here. It's calories from your healthy whole wheat pasta and your low-fat cheeses that are going to be a good source of protein for us. And then we are also adding in our next step here, we have some black beans. Now these I have canned ones, low sodium canned ones. Save yourself a lot of time. This is something that I use beans a lot in my cooking.
All right.
They're so easy just to open up and throw into your meal.
You know what, Stephanie? I'm going to enjoy this meal. I can tell. I mean, the combination of things, I'm like, I would have never ate that or tried that. But, ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie's last meal was good, so why won't this one be? I tell you what, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be close to plating up, and Marsha's going to have her spoon or fork, but we'll be right back.
Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The last half of the show, where Stephanie Vella is definitely tantalizing my taste buds to try this vegetarian meal. Now, Steph, I had a question before we get into me tasting. The question is about the mushrooms. Is it a particular type of mushroom, or can it be any kind of mushroom?
All kinds of mushrooms are going to work in this recipe, and they're also going to have the same health benefits.
Okay.
They're going to contain that selenium, that antioxidant that we want, and mushrooms also have some protein in them, about 2 grams of protein per serving. So that's going to be an added benefit for our vegetarians.
Okay.
Protein's one of those nutrients that we're concerned about as vegetarians because it's usually found mostly in meat or animal products.
All right.
So that'll be a good addition as well.
Now, can this meat be a side dish to a meal instead of the main dish?
Absolutely. So you could do something like a chicken breast or a slice of a turkey breast, or even with fish, this will work just fine.
Okay.
You don't have to add the beans into it. The beans are going to give you extra protein and extra fiber, so it makes it more significant if you're using it as your main dish. But to save yourself some calories with having it as a side, you could do just the pasta with your choice of sautéed vegetables. Yep, that would work perfect.
Now, I've said this before to the viewers on our last show, and I believe that if you've heard me once, you'll hear me again. If you have small children and you're trying to get your children to eat vegetables, if you start your children off at a very young age, then they will grow into the vegetables. But if you plan to tell a 10 and 12-year-old you must eat your vegetables, forget it. Okay, the hard job should have been done early on. Okay, but kids are growing up faster now, and their choices are mainly between fast food and no food. So, as a parent, you want to get your children on the right track to be healthy, exercise instead of living on the computers and everything. You must prepare meals yourself at home, or if you're unable because of your time frame, you need to go online, look at meal preparations that you can say, I can do this in 30 minutes or less. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right.
We're going to add our last ingredient to our pan here, which is 8 cups of baby spinach, which sounds like a whole lot of spinach, but we're going to put it right on top here, and we're going to have it wilt. So we're not cooking it to death. We don't want it to turn that olivey green color, because then it's going to get a little bit bitter.
I actually like spinach.
Yep, it's a great addition to this meal. And so we're just going to put it right on top there.
Okay.
You can make it go a little bit faster. You can throw a lid on here, which we have over here. Yeah.
All right. I know my sister introduced me to a spinach salad with walnuts in it.
Yep.
And sweet medallion dressing or something. It was really good. Okay, and I think dried cranberries. Thank you, Sister Karen. Okay. She said that. Okay, but yeah, and because it started me to eating spinach salad by itself instead of always saying I put the spinach in the juicer when I make a juice drink. Now I actually can have a miniature spinach salad.
Exactly.
And that's a good one, and it's a nice side dish. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of times you're just trying to figure out what to eat. You need to tune in to Just Ask, okay? And if you don't tune in to Just Ask, just go on the web and Google or something that I need something nutritional, nothing heavy. And this will work.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we have here?
So now we put our cooked pasta into a large mixing bowl. Okay. So we're going to mix this all together, make it nice and easy to serve. Okay. Here we have 3/4 of a cup of fat-free ricotta cheese. Okay, a little bit reminiscent of lasagna here.
Okay.
And we're using the ricotta because it's going to be low in sodium, low in fat, but it's higher in protein.
Okay.
About 6 grams of protein here.
Okay.
Yep. And we're just going to mix it all together.
I know this is my plate. I just want you guys to know that. Okay. All right. And the viewers always say, why is Marcia always eating? Because none of you want to come and stand in my place. But as I always tell you, if you think you are a conscious chef and you want to be on our show, you definitely want to contact me to be considered for the Conscious Chef segment. So, once again, hashtag Just Ask Talk Show, 1-800-323-5336, justasktalkshow.org, Facebook, something or other to say, Marcia, I want to try my hand at the next Conscious Chef. All righty. All right.
So we have our spinach here.
Okay.
Right, that's a nice smell. So it's just starting to sweat, I say.
Okay.
It's not that we're cooking it, overly cooking it. It's just starting to sort of glisten with that steam that we're doing here.
Wow.
We're going to just mix it up just a little bit. We don't want to mix it too much. It's going to kind of lose its texture. Let that go for just 1 more minute or so. And we have here our pasta mixed up with our ricotta cheese, so it's going to give a little bit more of a creamy consistency to our dish, without the fat that you normally associate
And you said
with
this
that.
was a dish you made in college?
I would.
Like,
I
okay.
would. You have to remember, I also studied nutrition in college, so I was pretty excited about cooking
That's
all
where
the
that
time.
comes from. Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, so maybe I was a little different than the average college student. But so our dish is going to be ready to mix into our pasta here.
Okay.
And it's hot, so of course you want to be careful when you're scooping it here. We're adding it all together. And it gives you just such nice color with that
It does.
spinach. And then the black beans I like to use because, again, it gives you some wonderful color. Of course, you could substitute your favorite kind of bean in here instead. Kidney beans work, white kidney beans, pinto beans.
Oh, all righty.
And we're just going to mix it all up here.
So that actually warms back up the
pasta.
pasta
Yep.
noodles
Yep.
and melts the ricotta.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you're somebody who enjoys a little bit more sauce,
Wow.
you'll see that it's moist, but it's not saucy. So you could absolutely do a low sodium tomato sauce just on the top here, something like that, since we already got the tomato theme going.
Okay.
You could do a little drizzle of olive oil if you wanted, but of course that's going to have more fat in it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it like, can't wait to taste it.
Are you ready?
Okay, can you tilt the bowl? I want to get a
Oh,
shot.
yes.
I want to get a shot of that bowl because I know that somebody's like, "What's in there?" So, okay,
know.
now tell us what again. We have onions.
Yep, so we started with our whole wheat pasta.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then we have caramelized onions,
Okay.
garlic in olive oil, and we have mushrooms, tomatoes, black beans. We have some spices or different kinds of peppers, little dash of salt in there,
Okay.
oregano, basil, our Italian spices, and then we have spinach, baby spinach in here, ricotta cheese. We have fat-free. You can also find part skim, so that works as well.
Okay.
And then we are going to put it onto our plate. You'll see here we're serving it with just some mixed greens. So this gives you a great idea of a serving suggestion.
Okay. So more greens.
More greens for you.
Okay.
What's wonderful about this is that you're filling half your plate with vegetables. So they're
Okay.
low in calories, low in carbohydrate for our diabetics out there, no sodium, no fat, and they're going to fill you up because they're high in fiber. So you're going to feel nice and satisfied at the end of this meal.
Right.
This meal's got a lot of fiber in it for you.
That sounds good. I mean, I noticed, ladies and gentlemen, there's no bread, there's no meat, but it's going to be good to eat. Okay. Did I say that? All right. And it's colorful.
It is. It's a beautiful. I think this would be very fun for a dinner party
Wow.
personally. But again, I also get really excited about food.
I would be excited myself if I'm the cook. Okay.
And we have here our last thing that we're going to add is shaved Parmesan cheese. Now you'll notice that this looks a lot different maybe than the usual Parmesan cheese that you're thinking of out of that shaker bottle.
Right.
This
This is fresh.
Absolutely. So the reason I like to add this, we're just going to add a little spoonful here, about a tablespoon on top.
Okay.
And you can try that.
Okay.
And with the Parmesan cheese, it's
Can I
going
get
to
a shot?
give you a lot of flavor without a lot of extra calories because it's fresh, hard cheese. That's only 20 extra calories that you're putting on top of there.
Okay. So I want to get a shot before I eat it. Everybody got this? The camera? Okay. All right. All right.
Good.
You know, I don't know where to start, but I'm a cheese lover, so I'm going to
Start at the top.
Yeah, I'm going to start at the top and mix a little bit together and let my viewers see my expression of what Marcia thinks.
Joy.
And then it's smoking
It's
too.
a little
so
hot, be careful.
Okay. That's good. I didn't know it, but I said it had meat in it. It's the mushroom.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's got the same amount of
That's good.
protein that a dish with meat would have. So, it has about 20 grams of protein in
That's
it.
good.
Which is that's a good amount of protein for being a vegetarian dish.
That is good.
Pretty
Stephanie.
fun, huh?
Wow. Wow. Now, if you know the golden rules, if Marcia eats it 3 times,
Uh-oh, this is lucky number 3.
that's lucky number 3. Lucky number 3. This is really good. I was watching you and I kept going to myself, oh, okay.
Keep adding all these different things.
Stephanie, you did it again.
Well, thank you.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, go on the web real soon. Get the recipe. Try it out. Email us and tell us what you think. because it was good to me. It'll be good to you. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you but to try it because I have, and I'm going to try to get it home with my family. So if you're looking for a future recipe, once again, just go through our information system and our social media and find us. If you want to try and be a guest on the show, then you know to contact me by way of all our social media network. I'm your host, Marsha Florence. What do I always say? If you know someone with a disability or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask, just ask.